Let me give you the basic format of how we are going to conduct the program. Sir, I welcome you. Sir GHP Rajgaru from, he's a retired IPS officer. He will be there with us to guide, to give guidance regarding the basic thing that we are planning today is how to fill the DAF2 document. Students who might be not selected or who are still starting to prepare for the exam, they also might be needing some kind of an input on this particular aspect. So sir initially would give a general overview of how exactly to approach DAF document that will be helpful for people who are attending the interview this year as well as in general the students also. Once that is done, we will be taking one-on-one doubts about the people who are going to the interview this year. So each one of you will be spoken because you're all in the online mode. We will be talking to you in the online mode one-on-one once the detailed session with sir is over. That is how it is going to be. Sir, we'll start, sir.
A very good morning to you all as well as those who are attending online. So straight we jump into the subject. Can I use the board please? Board? Those who are now qualified for the interview, that we will have a detailed session. Those who are preparing for the mains now, for the next batch. So it's basically like 4 to 5 minutes of what the UPSC looks at a candidate. Unlike the state public service commissions, I have huge reservations about the objectivity, impartiality of the state public service commissions. Though I got selected in the state public service commission, maybe one of the exception. But when it comes to the UPSC, absolutely since 1948, the first batch of the Indian Police Service and Indian Administrative Service, UPSC maintained its absolute integrity and objectivity in selecting the candidates purely based on merit. Absolutely. There is not even an iota of doubt about the integrity of the UPSC. That is a huge, maintaining 75 years of integrity is not a joke. Like that is the core strength of UPSC. So here basically how the UPSC screens the candidates basically to get to select into one of the toughest examinations in the world. Like what is the parameter the UPSC has mastered? You are urban boys, urban girls, studied from the best of the institutions. This is one lot. But the UPSC mandate is basically to also cater to the rural, the candidates with the rural educational background studied in vernacular media. If you are the chairman of the UPSC, how do you balance between an urban, educated, one of the best institutions vis-a-vis a normal graduate from the rural area? How do you balance between these two? It's a huge task before the UPSC. Successive batches, my batch, if you look at, out of the 81 candidates selected into the IPS, nearly 50 are from the urban, like the corporate, the public school background. The remaining 30 are from the rural vernacular media. It's not my batch. Every batch, whether it is IAS or IPS into the UPSC, nearly 30 to 40% are from the rural background. That is the beauty of the UPSC. So how the UPSC balances between the highly qualified English medium, the best brains vis-a-vis the rural vernacular media. It's a huge responsibility before the UPSC. That is I can say that is the core strength of UPSC. That's why, in fact, it has maintained absolute integrity and the impartiality when it comes to the selecting the candidates for these All India services and other services. So with this background, for you all, so this we'll start with Very commonsensical, very, very commonsensical. One is, I say this, character versus personality. The UPSC used the phrase, we call it interview. Interview is a method to assess the personality of a candidate. Why they have chosen the word personality instead of the character? So what is there any difference between these two terms? The very fact that there are two terms means there must be some difference, yes. Otherwise there is no need of coining the two different terms. So what is the difference between a character and personality? So UPSC is basically tries to reach, understand the character of a candidate based on the personality traits presented before the board members. Their basically assessment is character, but you can't see the character unless you go through the personality. So can you make a sense out of it? The way you conduct yourself, the way you dress, the way you taken care of your hair, the way you neatly attired, neatly shaven, proper hair dress, proper dressing, proper shoe. So they depict your personality, the way you communicate, the way you respond, not respond, speaking, not speaking, both are personality traits. Maintaining silence for a few seconds just to comprehend what is the member wants to know from me. You completed the question, immediately I started. That's another personality trait. So personality is basically what you show to the board members. So what do you show to the board members? First, what is that? The detailed application form is the first written information about your personality. This is how, this may be around 1%, 2%, not more than that. Whatever the detailed application form 2 which you fill up and submit to the UPSC is basically the first step. The board members get an opportunity to peep into your personality, and this is silent about this. So I hope you are getting the difference between these two. So that's why in the interview they use the word, it's a personality test. Personality begins with what you disclose about yourself. The DAF form is basically about myself, my name, my place of birth, my family background, mother, father, their economic status, whatever the little details about my parents. So this is basically like it gives some information about my background to the board members. In this, the most important portion of this form 2 is, we'll come to the educational qualification. Here, column 7, it says please give particulars at the university, state and national level in respect of A, B, C, D. There are 4 mentioned here. This is please give particulars at the university, state and national level in respect of. In this, prizes, medals, scholarships, etc. That's number 1, that is 7A. What does it indicate about your personality? You are consistently earning, you are the winner of the school level scholarship, national level talent search examination. Yeah, there is a scholarship given, degree level scholarship, or an NGO sponsored, and you are earning the scholarship. So to earn the scholarship, you have to go through a process of selection. Finally, you are selected for giving. So earning you are the winner of the scholarships shows something about your personality. Similarly, winning medals in the academic as well as extracurricular activities, sporting talent, that also speaks something. Suppose you are the winner of scholarship in the academics, also a gold medal in the football. What impression you get about if you four are in the board, what impression you get about this? Here is the personality, here is a person, a candidate who is not only good at studies, also good at extracurricular activities, yes or no? So the way you disclose your information to the board members is the first sign that you are telling about I am this. So one of the reasons why UPSC insists for here D, other extracurricular activities and interests such as hobbies, etc. Last 20 years, I am harping on the civil service aspirants, have one hobby as a passion. Hobby for the sake of interview, see, it's better not to have any hobby or mention here if you are not honest with yourself. Don't try to bluff the board. See, not knowing is accepted. You need not know information to all the questions. UPSC is not a stupid organization to expect you to answer each and every question. But do you have the character of admitting that I know only this much, I don't know beyond that? That is the character. Honesty is the character. Second character trait is whatever these candidates know, he knows so well, he is a master in the topic. That means what? He has a personality trait, whatever he touches, he or she goes to the bottom of that. It's a positive character trait, right? So character is basically what principles you adopt. What are your belief systems? This is basically from your family background, your peer group, and your faith. So character formation is a continuous ongoing process. I'll give a classic example just to drive home the point how this is different from this. Just two classic examples. I take the example of Abraham Lincoln, and the second I'll take the example of Mahatma Gandhi. These two examples just to drive home the point of how this is different from this. Abraham Lincoln, he said that I want the 13th Amendment to the American Constitution. I want this amendment come through, let what may come. That is giving equal rights, voting rights to the blacks in the first time in the history of USA. He was an advocate, the human activist. He is a human rights activist, Abraham Lincoln, lawyer by profession. He says that is unjust. Treating people differently based on their skin color is a sin against the God. His belief system. So what he did, he internalized it so much. The only way that you will unify and you will have a United States of America is abolish slavery, give rights to the blacks. For that, constitution has to be amended. What do you read? It's not the mere personality. His personality is very tall, very frail and very weak and soft spoken. These are his personality traits. He was not imposing. He was not aggressive. He was not aggressive. He was very sweet and very, his presence is innocuous. That is his personality, what is shown to the world. But his deep in the personality trait is one, the belief he lived throughout his life is this discrimination based on racial discrimination has to go. Only through conscience, that is the character. And because he lived his character through and through, he paid with his life. He was assassinated. Right? That is a classic example of the character. Second, Mahatma Gandhi. Despite tremendous national wave in support of Mahatma Gandhi's civil disobedience, 1917-1918. So he said that only through civil disobedience, only through truth alone trumps. I fight, my only weapon is the truth. The belief system adopted by Mahatma Gandhi is the truth and non-violence, ahimsa. I believe in the Jainism and the Buddhism faith borrowed the concept of non-violence. Even if you don't give the freedom, I don't mind, but I will not part with my non-violence. That is the character. So after this extraordinary response from entire subcontinent to Mahatma Gandhi's call for civil disobedience against the British, he called off that entire momentum because of Chauri Chaura incident, where 5-6 police were gutted, that is the violence. He said that how can you expect me to give up my non-violence to earn the freedom for this nation? I don't want this freedom. It's the character. So basically UPSC, why I am taking this example is they look at the character of an individual. How do they look at the character of an individual? If you bluff in your detailed application form that I practice yoga meditation, somebody mentions that I practice yoga and meditation during my school days. So that shows that this guy wants to impress us. So he lacks or she lacks that minimum something. So the board members are very observant about first is they go by this one. This indicates your personality. That's why extremely careful. Have one hobby which is very dear to you. I'll take 2 examples of where the hobby earned 200 plus marks. 2 candidates. One lady, she got into IPS 2006, 2005. She was my probationer and she wanted to appear again for the IAS exam. And I was just taking her mock interview. It's like one-on-one interview. She mentioned her hobby as spending time with the children. I said, okay, elaborate. What was that? You just elaborate. It is too vague, spending time with children. This lady, she was from Delhi. Her father was working in the Delhi administration. They have the quota. Every government official quota there have a servant quota. Delhi accommodation is the huge problem for the poor people. A family from UP migrated and come to this place. They work. The lady works as a maid servant in the quota. The husband ekes some other livelihood provided they give you this accommodation. They permit the family to stay in the official accommodation, this servant quarter, right? This girl started, mother goes for housemaid servant, father out on the what you call the taxi driver duty, leaving behind the children unattended. So this girl, the student, this IPS officer, not for UPSC hobby, not to fill this detailed application form too, she become curious about the children, class 1, class 2, how do they spend time without the parents. So when she comes from her college, she gathered those 10-15 the children of the maid servants and started spending time with them. With that, she learned how much the mother earns, how much the father earns, out of the father earnings, how much he uses for drinking, how he beats his wife, how these poor children are sexually exploited in the schools, the government schools. She started spending more time, 1 hour after school, after her college hours, teaching them mathematics, teaching them English. So she developed a passion, become her character. So every day without missing, spending 1 hour, 1.5 hours with the poorest of the poor children is her dedication. This shows the personality trait is she has that sympathy and concern. She devoted 1.5 hours, 2 hours of her time to be with the students. That has taught her about the poverty, about the problems faced by the migrant workers, migrant laborers in Delhi. Her entire interview is revolved around learning from this. She got 208 marks. She got into IAS and Ahmed Kada. So they have seen, the board members have seen how she is so passionate about the poorest. Are you into this? We believe, we basically southern guys, we believe UPSC preparation means ratta, kitab, classes, kitab. And 1 or 2 guys fluke get into that, then become like the role models. Unko hobby nahi thi. He got into or she got into IAS. Why should I have the hobby? There may not be any question in the interview board about your hobby. There may not be any question. But there are instances where hobby gave them the IAS, the highest marks. Another like Akurata Pallavi, 56th rank, Karnataka cadre, 2008 batch IAS. I remember her interview very clearly. We were taking long walks, like just chit-chatting, discussing. She was a very, very hard-working the girl. Her hobby was Rangoli. Rangoli, yes, but that's Mughal. She mentioned in her, that time it was an old format, not this one, mentioned that a Rangoli. One board member caught the attention of the Rangoli, and the interview drifted slowly to the Rangoli. And she, from her school days, college days, the differences between the Rangoli of South India, the Rangoli of the Bihar type of, what type of material used, how the Rangoli of the tribal art. It's innocuous, the Rangoli is innocuous, one line. But one member caught the attention of this Rangoli, tried to enter into her, say that is she committed to whatever she disclosed on the paper. That commitment comes only through action. So the character is basically about the action. How you are approaching your life is action. Character is basically action. This is basically showing. This is show or you tell. This is not action. Personality is not action. That's why they don't go by the way you dressed, the way you put up your the tie, shirt and tie, the best of I have seen some candidates, they buy the best of the suit for this interview, spending 10 to 15,000 for the interview for the purpose. It won't give you marks. show to the board member that you are honest with yourself, yeah. That is your character. I am dead honest. If I don't know, sir, I don't know. I just don't know, sir, I don't know. Guess. I said that, sir, I can't make the wild guess. I am so sorry. I don't know. Absolutely no knowledge about this subject. I am so sorry. I don't want to bluff the board. So here, the difference between the character and the personality, your personality is revealed through this one. One is already fait accompli, it's called, already achieved the prizes, medals and scholarships during your school days, college days, the latest. As recent as now. Are you into some social work? Are you associated with one NGO? Are you associated with the sports club? Have you taken up any sport as a passion? Because when I was attending the interview, I mentioned yoga is my hobby. Board member asked, I said that, is it necessary for an administrator? Yoga, is it necessary for an administrator? I said that, yes. Like, I said that, sir, how long you are doing yoga? Like, sir, graduation days, 1984. Yoga, like, no, I'm an IAS officer, but I never practiced yoga. You mean to say that I'm incompetent? I stuck. I don't know, frankly. I never expected. Now, yoga is not necessary to be a competent administrator. That is his, like, he wants to provoke. He wants to see, am I honest with myself with this, the so-called hobby called I mentioned as yoga. The second important aspect which, if you are preparing for the interview now, those who are, and you are going to the next year, remember one thing. In the mains examination, each paper is for 250 marks, right? Each paper 250 marks, and time given is 180 minutes, correct? 3 hours, yes? Whereas interview, how many marks? 275. What is the average time? Average time 25 to 30 minutes. Keep this, please. 25 minutes is the average. Unless there is an exceptional case where one of my IPS probationers is in Kerala cadre. He got just 44 marks in the interview. And the interview went on for about 1.5 hours. He was a history, MA in history from JNU. After that, he was pursuing his MPhil or PhD, I am not sure, in the Indian history, especially modern contemporary history, the Gandhian thought. Professor D.P. Agrawal's board, he was the chairman of the UPSC. D.P. Agrawal, professor, he said in the board itself, is that I am not going to select you. Bluntly, this guy laughed. Sir, dekhenge, like. The discussion between this candidate and the Professor D.P. Agrawal was nearly about 1.5 hours about the modern Indian history and Gandhian application to the current. D.P. Agrawal, professor, he said, why are you wasting your so much of, we are lack of authentic historians. You will be a brilliant historian. I don't want India to lose a brilliant historian like you. If you become a civil servant, you will never get an opportunity to become a historian. So he said, sir, Aapka marji. He got 44 marks out of 275 and he got into IPS, he got Kerala cadre. Means the passion for the subject. This is an exception. Otherwise, it's a 25 to 30 minutes. If you are lucky, if you are so brilliant and witty, humorous presence of mind, and the board members are at ease with you, they may extend it to another 5 minutes or 40 minutes at the, otherwise 25 minutes average. Is it not unfair where 250 marks is 180 minutes, 275 marks 25 minutes, 25 minutes. Second, in the mains, you have an option of correcting your wrong answer. You have written something, you realize that was factually incorrect. You can correct on the spot. Now in 25 minutes, you will not have that luxury of correcting yourself. Imagine the stress you will be under. How do I overcome this stress? The only way to overcome this stress during the 25 minutes, you know the method of how do they do it. One, the interview is going on now. You are interviewing me. The next candidate is him. Once I am conducted into the interview chamber, the door is closed. The next candidate is asked, otherwise he will be in the waiting hall with other candidates. Once I am inside to attend this interview, this candidate next in line is asked to come and sit outside the room. There is a chair kept. Imagine you are alone, 25 to 30 minutes, shivering, panting, palpitating. How do you conduct? That shows your tremendous, as long as you remain natural to yourself, you will sail through. The moment you bring in artificiality, what is the artificiality here? I must impress the board now with the best of my flowery English, with the best of my diction. Always I start my answer with a famous quotation. So some candidates, they come up with this type of a priori assumptions, the flowery my English, the very high sounding English, the board gets impressed. Absolutely not. If you try to impress the board, that is treated as a negative, that is negative, what do you call this character? It's a negative character trait. You just be normal, be natural. What is the natural here? The way now, if it is, now it is March, madam, March or April interview? The Delhi weather, March. Delhi weather, March is very pleasant. It's not too hot, it's not too cold. So the common sense is basically like, I don't want to wear, South Indians hardly, the weather doesn't permit you to wear the full suit, 3-piece suit, not required. At best, a very decent, the light color shirt, the good, like neatly pressed, not the new one. Shirt and tie. If it is shirt and tie not there, open collar, absolutely. Who said that you shall not go with the open, you shall wear only the tie? Who said that? UPSC has never mentioned it. It's we. We become unnatural with ourselves. The more I try to be unnatural, the stress hits me hard. Stress hits me so hard because my time is only 25 minutes. Out of that, your first, the way you respond to the question, the first sentence itself, it reveals what you are to the board member. They are so seasoned. Then the question is, अरे यार यहाँ 250 marks के लिए 180 minutes दे चुके हैं. If the board members are so sure that they will know about my character personality in 25 minutes, yes, it is time tested by UPSC since 1948. The board members are so seasoned, the way you are relaxed, the way you are mastery over yourself is that I am the master of my life here. This is the, yes, okay, I have to attend, I attend, that's it. No expectations from the board. You relaxed, you smile, you become very normal and natural. Then the board members, they notice. It's not that very informal, how are you, hi, how are you, like, very relaxed, and then that won't be appreciated. That will not be appreciated. So, point here is, are we ready for this 25 minutes? Is my entire thing is for 275 marks, am I ready for it? For that, this is the first requirement. The more the information you reveal to yourself, which is honest. I'm not a yoga practitioner, but yoga, meditation, I practice transcendental meditation. You can mention any number here, but I'm not actually doing it. What I'm doing, I'm trying to impress the board, which is treated as a negative trait. Second is here, positions, distinction of leadership held in the school and colleges. What happens is you are one, there are clubs and societies, you are an active member of the club, sports club, literary club, whatever the, what you call the magazine club, like, but unless and until you handled that assignment, you participated and acted in that, don't mention. Just for the sake of filling it, don't mention it, because you will be grilled. You will be taken to the bottom there just to see that are you honest with yourself or not. You mention what you have done. Suppose you are taking the mains exam, you are taking the next year, so that honestly begin from now onwards one hobby which is very dear to you. For me, 10 kilometers run is my favorite like event. Is it necessary to run 10 kilometers to be an able administrator? Certainly not. There is no link between. But however, in our job, there is a tremendous stress which you are handling as an IAS or IPS officer. One of the greatest stress buster is any endurance activity of the long duration. Slow jogging for about 8 to 10 kilometers will invariably takes care of my stress, which makes me freshen up. I am ready for fresh assignment. I approach my problem on hand with freshness, instead of sitting and smoking, drinking, not having good night's sleep. That compounds my problem. So it's a healthy, will that make me a good administrator? I don't know, but surely it takes care of my stress, provided I experienced that how the 10 kilometers run helped me in overcoming the stress. I will give you one example of how. IPS probationers, they undergo training in the National Police Academy, Sivarampalli, Hyderabad. They stay there for about 44 weeks. This 44 weeks, they learn both indoor subjects and outdoor subjects, include drill, firing, all those things. Right? Now, the quality of the training which they have undergone, like you are freshers colleges, suddenly you landed up as an IPS officer who goes to National Police Academy. Oh my God. So the 44 weeks of inputs are tested on the ground during the passing out period, which is attended by maybe Prime Minister, maybe Home Minister. This time the Home Minister Amit Shah ji was the chief guest. You as an IPS probationer, whatever the training which you have undergone last 44 weeks is tested in 45 minutes. The period is 45 minutes. If you are the in charge IPS officer, in charge responsibility is on your shoulder to showcase the training imparted to the IPS probationers before the PM. You have to be that person to experience the stress here. Because if the IPS probationer fell on the ground, hosh, nahi ye chale gaya. That means, oh, the training is very, very shabby. If the training is like, if the dress marching is not, everything reflects on you, because you are all in charge of the outdoor training. Imagine how you overcome the stress. Despite your best of the 44 weeks of devotion, dedication every day, the 44 minutes tests you, put to the extraordinary stress. Because your career is at stake. PM is reviewing the parade. The only way this gentleman in charge of the outdoor training is, he gets up at 4 in the morning, he takes a very long run. For about 40 to 50 minutes, he exhausts that. That is the only way he overcomes the stress. So, like my hobby, tremendous, may not make me a good administrator, I don't know. But certainly it helps me in overcoming the stress which is the problem every administrator faces. Sir, I advise you to take up the jogging, sir. It takes care of your stress. In the board, provided you are acting on your hobby again and again and again and again. It's not for the interview purpose. I hope I am making myself clear. So this 25 minutes preparation is key for you. Now, one more, the third one. There is, I always follow this. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? weaknesses, we use the word limitation. I use the word limitation, not limitation, not the weaknesses, the limitations. These two are what I am. My internal, you may call it my personality, you may call it my character, has to have these two, the strengths and weaknesses. If you are putting a question to me, paying attention to the question, very, very keenly listening, because if this member is asking me a question, another member counters him, hey, that is not the question here. How you conduct yourself. There it is impromptu, on the spot, confusion created, just to see whether this candidate has the nerve to hold on, unruffled. You are giving the answer, the sudden another member intervenes. That is not the correct answer. I know you are bluffing, just to unnerve you. How you conduct on the spot shows your strength. So your strength is it, that means you are very calm, composed. Okay, sir, I'll get back to you. If it is factually incorrect, sir, I'll correct myself. But let me come back to you. I will finish. So it's what? That is my absolutely equanimity. I'm saying that I'm at peace with myself. That's why be natural. My only request is, are you natural with yourself? Next, people think that the more the number of magazines, more the number of lectures I have to attend to the interview, your knowledge has information, your grip over the information is already tested in the mains. Allow the board members to know more about your strengths and weaknesses. Not, see, having a limitation or weakness is not negative. We are human beings. Every human being has a weakness or a limitation. That's why we are human. That's why we are human. If there is no weakness, no limitation in our capability, we will be omnipotent, omniscient, is like God. Never happens. Are you aware of your weaknesses? Are you ready to correct yourself when you are factually wrong? Yes, this guy has the moral strength. Same, the interview, one of the questions to her, this 56th ranker, Karnataka cadre, Pallavi. The question was, Pallavi, your own father indulged in corruption. He is working in the department. You are the district collector. You know in the heart of hearts that you know factually that your father was thoroughly corrupt and notoriously corrupt. How do you handle this situation? Is that, sir, I go by moral compass. It's a one thing, no justification here. That is what impromptu, on the spot, if you are honest with yourself. She did not condemn, she did not bring in corruption. No, she said that, sir, I go by my moral compass. After the interview, she said that, sir, I don't know how I got that phrase moral compass on the spot. She also not realized that that was a very touchy answer in one simple sentence. Can it be practiced here through the lecture, through the classes? I'm afraid not. Are you honest with yourself? Are you honest with whatever you write? Am I getting the command over this subject, whatever I write? Whatever actions I'm taking, my heart and soul and mind is there in that. Then you become a natural person. You are ready for the interview without absolutely any stress. With the 25 minutes is more than adequate. For them, 5 to 6 minutes, initial 5 to 6 minutes, they make their frame of mind. Absolutely 5 to 6 minutes. Suppose 5 to 6 minutes, all the questions are such a ridiculous questions where you have no clue. Sir, I don't know the answer. Yeah, okay, this question, sir, I don't know the answer. Madam, I don't know the answer. It's not negative. Not knowing the answer is not treated as a negative. Pretending that I know the answer, trying to cook up the answer like non-existent answer is certainly taken as a negative. Never pretend. If you don't know the answer. That shows the strength. That is called, the strength comes basically, are you principle driven? Next is weaknesses, is basically trying to please the board. Is the board impressed with me? Is the member pleased or not? Why the member is sulking? Why the member is faced like this? How are you concerned? That is his problem, not yours. Oh, the board member annoyed with my answer. If you are factually correct, let him, whatever his response to it, let it be. That comes only if you have the core strength. The weaknesses is basically one weakness which the UPSC is very particular, the members are, is this candidate is bluffing, trying to impress the board. That is a negative, viewed definitely negatively. Whatever this candidate know is honest and absolutely beyond that he is not bothered, or candidate is not bothered, that is treated as core strength. I will give you one example. One of the hobbies one candidate put was observing things. Acha, okay, this is something like very westernized. The hobby is observing things. He was placing the board, like he said that. Then the chairman asked, at the back of your, on the wall there is a painting. What is that painting? Is that? Sir, that is a Da Vinci painting. The board stunned. Because you entered from here, the board is to your, and there is no chance that you turn back to look at the painter on the wall. The chairman, it's in the chairman's room. It's a Da Vinci painting. There was absolute pin drop silence. I said, how did you notice it? Sir, I noticed on your chashma. You're wearing the glasses, I could see in the glasses. So this candidate on the spot means he is true and honest with your skill, the observation skill, as simple as that. That is one is sufficient to prove that you have that capacity as an IAS officer, full stop. So SWOT analysis, strengths and weaknesses, these are internal, these two are internal. Internal to a candidate. If there are internal two more, the opportunities and threats. These are external. The external factors play a vital role, making you comfortable or uncomfortable. As I mentioned, Delhi weather, when I attended the interview, that was May 14th. It was very hot, it's afternoon session, humid. That make me, my God, sweating, sitting outside the interview room for 20 minutes, I was drenching with absolute petrified. That is not in my control. This absolutely, I never attended these mock interviews like you are doing now. I never attended any mock interview, it was very few. I was in Visakhapatnam, Andhra University. So the threats are basically related to the other members. For example, before you are asked to sit outside the room, you will be sitting with other members, other candidates selected. There, if you get a cynical fellow or if you get an arrogant fellow, you will get the vibes there. You are already under stress, you are not sure how it is going to be. These guys are bluffing, there is nothing here, what are, like they try to boast. They have the reason to boast themselves because they are also under tremendous stress, they want to overcome the stress by blabbering basically about themselves. So now here is the threat is basically environmental threats, the stress when you are sitting outside, how you compose yourself. My best technique is, you will be carrying your original applications with you, the file which you carry, those who are, you carry your original mark sheets, the certificates which will be verified, the file is with you. Along with this file, you carry one exercise notebook or a diary, your personal diary. I don't know whether they permit the diary or not, but sure carry a small white sheet, small notebook. When you sit outside, just to keep your attention, mental attention away from the interview, you keep on writing about yourself. Write. I realized the writing involves tremendous attention. So you are temporarily forgotten about the interview. What you write there, not about the current affairs again. Absolutely. Not about how my interview is going, nothing about the interview. You write about my family, about your childhood, about if you are a story writer, if your hobby is basically poems or storytelling, any subject which has nothing to do with the interview. So this writing has the ability to keep you away from the interview for temporarily. Keep it with you. Next, in the interview board, when I attended, the table in front of me, on the table there is a pen and scribbling pad. Another way of overcoming the stress is, basically I open, pencil is there, I open this notebook and kept my pencil ready. You are asking the question, basically this is threats. How do I overcome the environmental stress? The bottom line is about this, these are external to me, which is impromptu on the spot. I can't help about the weather. It was AC room, AC hall, big hall then. But I can't help managing stress outside, sitting outside the room and inside. So like one board member, when he is asking the question, I took the pencil and is looking at him, just scribbling whatever. It's basically not to copy what he or she is asking, but to manage my stress on the spot. So this is the great opportunity for me. How do I practice? The opportunity comes on the spot, using the notebook, sitting outside the room, and when inside the room, when facing the board members, have the notebook. That is a great opportunity to not to show your stress. What happens is it appears business-like. It appears that this candidate has the knack for attention. Suppose one blabbering question, not sure that what the board member trying to ask, you have a right to politely request the member to repeat the question. Sir, can you please repeat? That shows your tremendous self-confidence. You are unruffled. You are not in a hurry to blabber something on the spot. I have to tell something, you need not open your mouth unless and until you are sure of the question first. That shows your strengths. So these are some of the, but however, this interview preparation is not now, like once the results are announced, then I want to work on my personality. It doesn't change. People believe that the personality means well dressed, well spoken. That is not the personality. Have you ever seen Mahatma Gandhi dressed properly? Why millions and millions of people wait to listen to him? APJ Abdul Kalam. It's very ordinary. Then their personality is their character, is their personality. These 25 minutes, can you develop that one? Can you work on your own person, your own character, your own belief system? Why do you want to be a civil servant? My first question is, why do you want to join IAS? Sir, संघ सेवा करने के लिए. Yeah, IAS थोड़ी सी संघ सेवा होता है क्या? Only 7,000 candidates are there, 7,000 cadre strength of IAS. You mean to say the remaining are not doing any संघ सेवा? Social work करने के लिए, sir, people को. Absolutely not. It won't impress. It's not your honest answer. You are not sure. Why do you want to become a civil servant? How many of you tell me? Be honest with yourself. Why do you want to join IAS? Why? Have you answered this question honestly to yourself? You are a software professional, you are earning around 1 crore package, then artificial intelligence, the emerging technology will make you the leader, you will be rich. I don't want that money. Why do you want to become a civil servant? Most of the candidates, they are not sure why do you want to. Can you work on that? Can you write answer honestly 10 times? That's what my advice to those who are online attending now is. Are you ready? Are you convinced of the answer that why do you want to be a civil servant? You are not sure. If you ask me the same question, why do I want to? Why? In fact, why I have selected? when I was in the Andhra University pursuing my post-graduation, the only thing at the back of my mind is I want to be a civil servant. I don't want to be a geologist. They are very clear from the day. My core subject graduation 3 years geology and 3 years MSc technology applied geology, 6 years geology. Geology subject is only for me to propel me into civil services from the day one. I never wanted to join the Geological Survey of India. I don't want to join the ONGC. I don't want to join Atomic Minerals Division, which are the one of the premier. That time, I said that I don't want to be a geologist. I want to be a civil servant, or I want to be a lecturer, that's it. I don't want to be a banker, I don't want to be a chartered accountant. I'm very clear what I want in my life. Then why, okay, civil servant, why civil services? The logic appeared to my mind was, anyway you want to be a government servant, you want to become a civil servant, why not attempt at the highest level? There are group 4 is also a government job. IAS is also a government job. So what is the difference between highest level and this group 4? Both are government jobs, yes or no? Then like group 4, group 3, group 2, group 1 and civil services. Once my 89 first attempt, I missed my interview. I went up to interview, I got only 50%. I didn't get any rank. That was 1989, my first interview board. So 1990, that was APPSC Group 1. The same exam pattern, same optionals, same, I cleared prelims, cleared mains, cleared mains, cleared interview. I got the selection here in the year 1990. I got selected in the Group 1. But I was not happy with the way, in fact, like, still my dream is still remaining there. Once I wanted to be a civil servant, I want to attempt at the highest level. There is no other level of recruitment than IAS. Civil services means. Why not aim high? That's what Vivekananda said. Swami Vivekananda said that aim high. Low aim is crime. I strongly practiced and believed in that. So this is my personality, basically like, but I got only 50%, 250 marks that time, I got 125 exactly. 125 in the interview. So anything you want to ask. So here, as I mentioned, the character, your character will be assessed through whatever the information you providing to the board through this detailed application form. During our time, this was not there. There was the mains application, only one mains application. In this, one more area, sports and NCC. You are already out of your college. I don't expect you to take up any sports, but if you are serious about interview, about the 25 minutes where you want to get out of the board with reasonable marks. Our previous CP, Commissioner of Police here, Mr. C.V. Anand, he is a normal graduate. Is a normal graduate. But he got into IPS. He was a product of this HPS, Hyderabad boy. Entered the IPS at the age of maybe 23. Maybe in his first attempt, I am not sure. You know what fetched him? He scored the highest marks in the interview. He was under 19 cricket player. His entire interview was on the sporting activity. Any interview candidate where now, suppose you are out of college, join a private club, sports club, become a member of that seriously to know about that sport. How that sport is helping the Indian sports persons, what are the problems in that sport, where we stand, for example. One of the candidates, I have seen this candidate, madam, that lady, she was the gold medalist in the national level, international level, in martial arts. I can assure you, looking at her, this column 7, the sports and NCC, the board invariably takes her into that arena only. What is India's sports performance in the recent Olympics? What is your view on this, Commonwealth Games? What is this sport about you are? She was into the Thai boxing type. She won the silver medal. I can assure you her interview is a cakewalk for her because she lived. Her character is known to that. Her personality is revealed through her, only this column. Subjects, by the way, some subject experts are there, by the way, they may ask, may not ask. But if your column 7 is honest and it has depth, getting 175 out of 275 is cakewalk. That's in your hands, not in our hands. So nothing is late. But if you are only a bookworm, you say that the only spending time with the books takes me to the IAS, it may happen in 1 or 2 cases, but they are exceptions, that is not the rule.
So there is one query here, in the sense that the student is mentioning a whole lot of things in the extracurricular. Like you said, for the sake of writing, he has come up with a couple of them. But then out of them, how is it that, see, if he is not into any expertise in any of them, like on and off he was doing this, like, coins collection is there, he was doing, right now he is not really pursuing, a couple of years ago he was doing, can I still write?
Of course, during college days, university days, it is clearly mentioned here, like prizes, medals, scholarships, maybe during the college days, positions, distinction of leadership held in school and college. There, if he is into these type of hobbies, may mention, but after that, there has to be a reason to give up those if it is passion driven. Board may ignore it, but any member by chance is also into that hobby. The board member may become curious about that. So once you mention anything here, it is the board presumes that you have in-depth knowledge and experience into that.
Sir, one more question can I? This is regarding, though we still did not start talking about this, this is about the preference of zones for, should I wait for that question?
Yeah, sure, I will come to that one. Yeah. Now, anything otherwise we will go to form 2. This is the detailed application form 2. Whatever you mention in this 8 pages, be careful and be honest with yourself, because this is the document, once you submit to the UPSC, you cannot change or modify. That's why extremely careful with each and every column here. Mother tongue, no problem. Place of birth is no problem. If born in India, post office, city, can you just, okay, can I go like this? Okay. City, town, village, district, state, pin code. What is the purpose of this? Why the UPSC board members, they want to know about your place of birth? Why so detailed? It has two purposes. One purpose is, once you get into the service, there will be a verification, a secret verification. At the address given, the address which you mentioned, this application will be shared with the local police. There will be a secret inquiry verification about your family background, your political affiliations. During your student days, for example, you have pursued a particular extreme ideology, that will be known in the village. So the government has every authority to know about your background, because this is one area where uncontaminated information comes. They also verified about my village, which is, I left the village almost 40 years ago, but mention karna hi karna hai. The purpose is that one. That's why, like, if it is Hyderabad, place of post office, city, town, district, and you give the full details about your place of, like, this is basically for 2 purposes. One is for the verification once you get into the service, whatever irrespective of your rank, once you are selected by UPSC, there will be verification. This is called CA verification, character and antecedents verification. In police parlance, it is called CA verification, character and antecedents verification. It is mandatory. The second one, about father, mother details, status, name of the mother, status, nationality of the father, if it is. So, if it is more or less, because Nepalese and Bhutan citizens are also allowed to take this exam. That is why this column is added, the nationality is important. If your father is in service, the post held by him is so important, where the post not only, it is adjustable, madam, means in the sense that the more I can add more information. Huh? Online? No, not now. In the application when I was filling up, for example here, father's profession agriculture. I can elaborate. So here in this father's profession is agriculture. Agriculture is an ocean. I want more specific when it comes to the service. Agriculture means what in this? Is he a farmer, or is a like landowner, or is a tenant in the land? What type of crops, what type of here, agriculture land, father in service, the profession, the one or two sentences about the profession of the father. Suppose he is executive engineer PWD, some other office, one application is the public works department is the chief engineer executive retired. One more applicant is the retired as head constable in the Telangana police or police. So how, like, you give the information, but it should be like relatable, it should be very focused. So that's why this in service father's profession is one area where the board members may grill you a bit, because are you curious about that profession or not, your father's own profession? Are you sitting with your own father and listening to what is happening in the department? For example, if it's a PWD, if it's a police department, or one candidate whose father is working as the school bus driver. I asked this candidate, how much time you spent with your father to know about the problems of a bus driver, the working hours, how his life is insured or not, whether the government of India's schemes related to is he a organized worker, unorganized worker. It's not textual, it's not bookish knowledge here, it is common sense knowledge about the things happening in your family, about your father's profession. I asked the candidate, go back to your place, spend 2 to 3 days with your father. So become experiential knowledge, not the theoretical. You can ask him on phone. Instead, go visit the village, see the bus. That's called the experience. You experience, because action speaks so loud here than your theory. So interview preparation is basically about your actions. Actions is basically about your character. Means if this candidate is selected into IAS or IPS, yes, he is a correct material, because at the end of the day, we are all problem solvers. Every civil servant is a problem solver. What UPSC is doing, UPSC is trying to pick up a candidate has the proven ability of problem solving ability, as simple as that. Analytical ability, you may call it, problem solver. We are all problem solvers. Government is a problem solver. I am, as an IPS officer, I am a problem solver. What is the problem here? Cybercrimes is a problem, insurgency is a problem, man management is a problem, training is a problem, delinquency is a problem, running away from the police, joining the militancy is a problem. How do you solve this problem? My own constables, they ditched the police and joined the militancy. Why? Government job is there, monthly salary is there, government quarter, free ration. Why did you join? Why did you join, ran away? So this is the problem posed before as an IG operations. This is the problem I face. How many are there? His friends are there. His friends, how many are there? He is indoctrinating them, brainwashing them to come and once, because every constable in the insurgency or militancy related area given a weapon. What if he runs away with the weapon? Can I withdraw the weapon from him? That sends a very wrong signal. You are not trusting us, sir. Without weapon, how can I go my home? It's simple, they will come and kill me. So what do I do? This is the problem before. So why I am telling is, you and me are the UPSC is given the responsibility of selecting the best brains who has the ability to solve the problem. For that, you have to reveal your personality, that I am curious about my father's profession. So here he mentioned agriculture. Agriculture is too vague, means you are not attentive towards your father's agriculture practices, whether it is irrigation facility or tank or monsoon based agriculture, what type of crops, how much is the yield area, how he manages the input cost, what is the Pradhan Mantri's, the schemes specific to the farmers, why PM has sending the directly into the pocket 3 times in a year, 2,000, 6,000 direct to the farmers. Is your father one of the beneficiaries? No, he is not getting. Why he is not getting? Sorry, I am not, my father is not a land owner. But land owner is in Hyderabad, the land is in Adilabad district. My father is stealing the land, but that guy sitting in Hyderabad is getting that 6,000 rupees from PM. So I become curious, that is what they expected from the civil servant here, not the bookish. Bookish is tested in the, up to the mains. Now become action oriented, my point. That's why this is important area where you are revealing your approach to your life to the board members. The more but not too much of agriculture not required. Agriculture is a farmer, land holding or the tenant. Like, next is, if mother is also working, housewife is fine, like homemaker, housewife, that is not a. Then if it is retired, that's mother is in service, the post held by her. If retired, indicate the post held by her at the time of her retirement. Because if this is one application I have seen, DAF application. Father is an executive engineer and mother is a senior gynecologist in the state medical department. Father's salary is roughly around 16 lakh per annum, whereas the mother's salary is around 28 lakh per annum. Is an executive engineer PWD. It's a very curious observation. Are you aware of this? Because you revealed in your, as a member I am going through, how come your mother is earning whereas an executive engineer in the PWD is earning less? How is that? This information is provided by you only. Are you curious about this development or not? Is the medical profession offers more or benefits are more which are not there in the executive engineer PWD department? So that's how each column is so important for the board members. If there is any curious development, if it is a run of the mill type, you are not revealing anything. You are not giving an opportunity to the board member. But don't dramatize. My only point is, don't dramatize. State to which your father originally belongs. For example, in my case, suppose my son is attending this exam. The original I belong to Andhra Pradesh, but I served 30 years in Meghalaya. My children domicile is Meghalaya. So that this type of, if that is there, then my profession has taken me, though Andhra Pradesh, but I served last 30 years in Northeast. So that what happens is, the board members may ask if my son is or my daughter is attending, they say that, okay, Northeast, what are the specific problems? Stayed there, schooled from there. So your observations about the Northeast, that is one area where. So this is the basic document which you are submitting to the UPSC, which expected that you know commonsensically about each and every information you mentioned. That's it. This is the beginning. It covers roughly around 15 to 20% of your interview, provided there are some curious subjects like I mentioned to you, that is Thai unarmed combat, where she won the silver medal. That is unusual. Like, that's basically like unusual in the sense the board catches that. What is this sporting about? Why girls are, how many girls are there? How many participated? Which country is the best? Because a lady candidate taking up that unarmed combat, winning the silver medal at the international level is one thing, is the board members, they relish to know more about that sport, about that candidate. State to which the mother originally belong, district to which your mother originally belong. Next one please. Father's present postal address, post office, city, district, state and pin code, the same purpose basically for the verification of the family verification. Mother's present postal address, give last address, this is also basically like verification of the family background. Whether your family owns or possesses any of the following assets: 5 acres of agricultural land and above, residential flat of 1000 square yards and above. This was not there during our time. So agricultural land 5 acres, what was the rationale if it is 5 acres and above? I don't know why this column is given, why 5 acres? I am not sure, madam, if there is any logic here. 5 acres of agricultural land and above means what? Like there is something, maybe I am not sure. There are different types of agricultural lands. One is the like monsoon based, one is the rain fed, and irrigation land, tank. There are different types. Only one crop. Where you go to the coastal belt of Andhra Pradesh, you get 3 crops. Same. So I don't know why this one. Residential flat of the and above, residential plot of, I don't think any residential plot of 200 square yards and above in areas other than the notified municipalities. I don't know what was the purpose of that one. I frankly, why this column Q is given, I have no idea. So next, coming to the educational qualification is one area where most of the members, they quickly go through. First they begin with your native district, state, because if there is any something historical, something social, cultural, art wise, if that is unique to your district, you are expected to experience it. Don't read about it. Don't read about it. If there is a classical dance or a classical art form, go and spend time with that person who is actually doing it. Suppose in Telangana there are some places where the Chenetas is very, very famous. If any of you from Telangana, I expect you to go to nearby village, spend a whole day with them and watch what are their problems, what are the schemes available to them, how the women, in fact, fishermen community for example, if there are coastal belt of fishermen community. We all know they go into the not high seas, low seas for the fishing purpose, only the male members can afford that one. It's a very, very physically challenging. Leaving behind the women folk. Women folk wait for the sea produce to receive, dry it and sell it. What is the drunkenness? Because of the excessive heat, the humidity, the male members are into drunkenness. Terrible drunkenness problem. Second, the girls are prone for middleman exploitation. The girls, the fishermen community. So imagine by spending 1 or 2 days with them in your area where it's known for a particular art, particular culture, particular festival. You are expected to get associated with that, to have a feel of it, not the bookish. Similarly, the education qualifications are so important here, which speaks about your, what is this column there? The scholarships, prizes, medals and scholarships. It's one of your core strength is academically this candidate is studious, hardworking through and through. At the same time, the candidate has time and energy to pursue NCC, to excel in sports. So your personality is known to the members from educational qualification. In my case, what happened? Madam, you must, board, Asgar Sammoon board, yeah. I was just, oh Raju, you are first class student through and through. He was looking at my mains application, I think, I don't know where he was, you are first class student through and through. As a passing, it's not a question, it's not observation. It's as if he's speaking to himself. He's aged roughly around 70, 75 years. I'm like, as if he was speaking to himself. I was listening. I just paused. I did not respond. I don't know whether to respond or not. Another member, can you imagine? I was not a first class student through and through. I got second class in intermediate. I remember that the transition few seconds is so imprinted on my mind. So the chairman, okay, that's why maybe I got away with 125 marks. Otherwise, this guy He is not aware of his own performance here. It's a very, very lack of self-awareness, presence of mind. Maybe the chairman is expecting like, no sir, sorry sir, I got second class in the intermediate, which is 57%, which was there on record. I regret that why I missed it. Lack of presence of mind, sharpness, on the spot, sharp reply. Because I was not sure whether it is a question or observation or he is just mentioning it to himself, I am not sure. But certainly they expected, I am very sure he is too sharp, the chairman must be expected, my sir, sorry sir, it is only second class. So here, this candidate, 10th class, first class, 93, 12th class, 88%, B.Tech, civil engineering, into higher education, this is, sorry, CGPA score, percentage, subjects, college, institution, date of completion is very, very important here. In this candidate, he completed his B.Tech in 2013. So 2013, now 2023, the 24 interview. Post-graduation diploma in first class in 2014, this candidate. My simple question is, like, what did you do from 2014 to 2024, 10 years? How do you justify? Any gap in the last education and the interview date? If it is 1 year, 2 years, as the board members are, if it is observable, if it is, well, how are you spending time? There has to be reason, right? There has to be reason. Yes or no? There has to be reason. How do you justify before the board this gap in your education is so important? Your answer should be honest. You cannot bluff. Because suppose I am working, in the last 10 years I am working in the software company. Mention that somewhere. I am a coder, or from the poor family, my family could not afford my education further. I have to get into the job. I got into the job. Then I realized that's almost, now it is the time, the family is stabilized, my sisters got married. Now why not I take up this exam? Why not? That is what you have experienced here. It's not bookish. My question is that the gap in your educational period has to be justified honestly. Otherwise, that becomes your limitation, the weakness. If you try to bluff, if you try to impress upon the board that mentioning activities which you have not engaged with, which is certainly viewed as negative, certainly. So that's very important. The gap is very, very important. After that, we have already covered, give particulars of, this one, column 7 is a very, very important. From now onwards, if suppose, if this blank as per you, basically it is silent. There are so many online degree like MIT, the other universities, international universities, they are offering Coursera. Enroll in the Coursera certification courses. Fill this portion in. Next is, if sports, you are out of college, out of university, become a member of the local sporting club, even the squash, even as a small nearby, become a member of that and engage in that till you come up to fill up this form 2. Then you say that I have experience in the sport, not during college days, but now yes, it's a stress. To overcome the stress, I started this something sport, some activity, which is with a proven track record. Positions, distance leadership held in the school and colleges also reveals not only your textual bookish knowledge, the board is more interested in this. Is so important for the board because your theoretical knowledge is already tested in the mains. They are not interested in taking you again back to the bookish textual, what is your view on inflation? No, I don't think they are, they give them something here. Join a mission, Ramakrishna mission, become a part of this, show that you are the leader. You have the leadership traits. Why should I select you? You have to be a good marketing executive to market your skills. That's what interview all about, right? It's in your hands. And through actions only, through experiences only, not by theory. not by textbooks, no. Next is other extracurricular activities such as the hobbies. They ask what is the difference between a hobby and a habit. This is on the spot. Why a hobby is important for an administrator? There is no reason. The hobby has nothing to do with the profession. There is no relation between, somebody says that paper reading my hobby. Come on, yaar, like you sound kiddish before you want to become an IAS officer and you are disclosing before the board that paper reading my hobby. Is it hobby? It sounds silly. That means this person lacks depth in his personality. The candidate lacks depth in the personality because the candidate doesn't know that paper reading is not a hobby. Hobby is not a daily one. Hobby is intermittent. Whenever you are as an IAS officer, IPS officer, you are tremendously stressed out during floods, rescue and rehabilitation, or the Prime Minister's visit, which are very, very high profile assignments which you are expected to handle away from family. Bhuj earthquake, almost 45 days the Bhuj collector, he didn't visit his family, he was staying in the tent. Thousands of bodies to be disposed, animals, carcasses has to be disposed, ensure that the disease doesn't spread. Extra water is not available, medicine is not available. Then relief material was looted by police. As a collector of Bhuj, imagine extraordinary stress. This Bhuj guy, he is into he put on the haversack, the back box, and he started running 10-15 kilometers. It doesn't come just like that, but he is already into fitness. He is a karate, and he is unarmed combat is his passion basically. He is into that. Basically, to overcome the stress, that's where the hobby comes into picture. It doesn't make you an efficient administrator, certainly not. There is no link between the hobby and the efficiency. But certainly, hobby is one antidote to stress. If you can convey this message to the board, you are mature, your strength you are revealing. The purpose of interview is reveal your strength. One of the columns is the leadership and hobbies. Be honest with your hobby. Don't mention the book reading is my hobby. Absolutely, book reading is not a hobby. No, paper reading is not a hobby. Watching TV, listening to music is not a hobby. No. Go to the next, please. Now coming to very important direction from the Department of Personnel and Training through one link which they have mentioned. Note number 2. Getting into the IAS and IPS, during our time, it was not, this is called preferential zonal system. This system was there till 1979. After that, they done away with this preferential zonal system. Now they have introduced again back to the preferential zonal system through a circular issued in the year, this is cadre allocation policy 2017. And UPSC is a very, it gives you cues, it gives you the leads and expect you to catch that lead. The one of the leads which has given, please go through this UPSC, the cadre allocation circular 2017, read clause by clause before filling up the next column. So why they have mentioned, madam, after you shared this with me last night, I visited the circular in the month of 9th May 2017, the UPS has issued this circular. So they parted ways with the old cadre allocation system to the new system of preferential zonal system. They divided all the cadre, they allocated cadres into 5 zones. This is the first. The circular says that all the cadres henceforth are grouped into 5 zones. So once you allocate, you can't left, second direction is, it says that you are forced, you shall select first zone in the descending order. First is you have to select the zone. Next, not only select a zone, but select the order of preference, where do you want to go? Suppose in this application, if they mentioned Rajasthan, zone 1, maybe he's a North Indian, the candidate, his preference is zone 1, is my first preference. If I don't get any of this, I come to Chhattisgarh, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Hindi belt. My second preference is this. The third, if I'm not eligible for these two, give me in this. Suppose I am eligible in zone 1. So they say that yes, in the zone 1, I am from Rajasthan. This candidate is from Rajasthan, home state domicile. Is that please give me Rajasthan cadre. This is mandatory for you are from Telangana. Obviously, you prefer home cadre. I am from Andhra Pradesh. I prefer Andhra Pradesh cadre, that undivided Andhra Pradesh. Now, you have to mention that zone 5, where is the Telangana? I am from Telangana, right? So, I have to mention zone 5 as my first preference. Number 1 preference is zone 5 and Telangana is my number 1. Telangana shall be my number 1. Suppose you mentioned zone 5 as my first preference and not mentioned Telangana as your first preference, then you will not get you will not consider for the home cadre, though you are from Telangana, though you are eligible for home cadre. So there are, if you are from a particular state, you have to give that zone if you want to go to your state. Suppose classic case Adapa Karthik is All India ranker 2007 batch, Haryana cadre. Though he is All India ranker number 1, though he is from Andhra Pradesh, though there was an insider vacancy in Andhra Pradesh, he very categorically mentioned that I don't want my home cadre. So he is allocated to Haryana cadre. Second, Sampath is 97 batch IAS. He got All India 5th ranker. He is from Andhra Pradesh. He landed up in Assam Meghalaya cadre. Because when it comes to, if you get into the IAS or IPS, would you prefer to be posted to your home cadre? He left blank. He said neither yes nor no. If he left this option not exercised, blank, then it is presumed that no. Now this candidate zone 5, in this zone 1, Rajasthan is number 1. Suppose mentioned zone 1, not Rajasthan as number 1. He left it blank. Then how the UPSC reads that, understands you have not given any preference for your home state. You will not be allocated, it will not be presumed. Not giving your option, not giving any option is treated as no, not as yes. If it is yes, you have to mention yes Rajasthan number 1, yes zone 1. Then of course, then they see there are 3 parameters to post you to your home state. Number 1, your rank. First is merit, your rank in the overall. Number 2, this, your preferences. Number 3, availability of the vacancy. In Rajasthan, this candidate, in my case, I did not get the Andhra cadre, though I got the All India 65th rank, though I got into IAS. So that time I opted for IPS with the hope that I get my Andhra Pradesh cadre, because it's a big cadre. Every year at least 2 to 3 insider vacancies are there. Invariably by opting IPS, I will be the topper in India, my batch, 1993 batch. I get my cadre. I did not get my Andhra Pradesh cadre. What I got Assam Meghalaya cadre. Why it happened? So I filed a court case in the Central Administrative Tribunal Hyderabad bench, summoning my cadre controlling authority, that is Minister of Home Affairs, come and explain to this cat how you allocated me Assam Meghalaya cadre. So they explained everything. as per the roster system which was there since 1985, All India roster system, which was created by Mr. none other than the T.N. Session in the cadre allocation. In the cadre allocation, he mentioned the 100-point roster system there, the old system. That system says that if it is like this is, he is a Rajasthani, he is an insider, right? Your domicile is the insider. So all others are outsiders, right? I am Meghalaya cadre born IPS officer. I am an outsider to Meghalaya, Assam Meghalaya cadre. But my own batchmate is there, IAS. He is Khasi, and he is a local, he is a non-tribal, he is a local. So he is an insider, right? He is an insider, I am an outsider. So how do they allocate the insider, outsider, insider, out? There is a formula called OOI. Outsider, outsider, insider, outsider, outsider, insider, because that is 66% outsiders and 33% outsiders. If there are 3 vacancies, the 2 has to go to the outsider, 1 to the insider. That is the cadre, that is called the roster system. So T.N. Session has prepared 100-point roster system, outsider, outsider, insider, outsider, OOI, OOI. That year 1993 cadre allocation IPS in Andhra Pradesh, there is outsider, outsider, insider, outsider. There are only 4. Right? Out of that 4, 3 are outsiders, Mahesh Dikshit, Amit Garg, Sandeep Sandilya. Till the other day he was the commissioner, Hyderabad. These 3 are outsiders. P.V. Sunil Kumar is an insider. Because what the MHA has mentioned, that year 1993, this insider vacancy as per the 100-point roster system is reserved for SC. So this candidate has no option but to, because he missed the, as per the roster system, the slot is meant for an SC candidate having Andhra Pradesh domicile. You are the topper, so what? As per the roster system, you are not eligible for Andhra Pradesh cadre. Then once you missed the Andhra Pradesh cadre, you go to the national pool, the general pool. General pool invariably starts with Assam Meghalaya alphabetically. Being the topper, I landed up in Assam Meghalaya cadre. So now they dispensed with that system, now introduce a zonal system. If you want your home cadre, you have to fulfill 3 conditions. Be careful about these 3 conditions. One is the merit, of course, it is in your hands. Once you got the All India rank, IAS or IPS, you are the topper. Don't expect that you will be automatically allocated to your cadre unless and until you fulfill these 3 conditions. One is your rank. The second one is, have you preferred or not? So one of the applications, Adilabad district, one candidate, ma'am, he is from Telangana. I have seen very carefully. He has given zone 5 as number 1 option, that is he fulfilled, and Telangana number 1. Suppose he missed here zone 5 as number 1, he will not get the Telangana cadre, though he mentions here Telangana number 1, because he did not mention he did not choose the zone. He has chosen the zone but not chosen Telangana as number 1. Also he will miss the home cadre. So there are 3, plus mere you mentioning you got the merit, you are given the preferences, it does not entail you to get the home cadre without the vacancy. There has to be preference, merit, preference and vacancy. That vacancy now has the 4 columns. One is unreserved, SC, ST, OBC. That's the same 100-point roster system going on now, the same. It begins with OOI is the same formula. So it takes time, ma'am, not that important. Cadre.
One query, couple of students had asked, I mean 3-4 students have asked. One is that they're looking at zone 5, and within zone 5, is there any difference between, because 2 years ago that candidate had appeared at the interview. At that time their preference was like, Telangana, AP, Karnataka, that's how they were going. The confusion is about the 3 other states, not about AP and Telangana, that obviously they were choosing, but rest of the 3 states, what has to be the preference?
Okay, please repeat for the benefit of the again. I'll take this example. This candidate is from Adilabad district, Telangana. Now he filled this zonal, so he has given zone 5 as his preference 1 and Telangana as number 1 choice, Karnataka number 2, Andhra Pradesh number 3, Kerala, Tamil Nadu 4 and Kerala 5. So what is the question, ma'am? What is the doubt in the back of this candidate? So general impression in the mind of the UPSC, basically the DOPT who categorized, clubbed different states into a zone. They considered almost all these 5 states are more or less similar culturally, language wise, more or less the similarity. So only thing which the candidate should be aware of is giving preference to his home state within the zone. Beyond that, it makes no difference. Your personal choice, your likes and dislikes. That's it. So there is no scientific way to advise you. Suppose in this case he has given Karnataka 1, zone 4. So he is certainly from North India. He is not interested because his preference is basically like South India. This is South India and the Northeast is least preference. But however, ma'am, once he misses this cadre, this is a proprietary item of the DOPT, the cadre allocation system, and the permutations and combinations are infinite. It all depends upon one variable. I will show you the variable here. What is the deciding factor here? Your choice is 2022. I have downloaded the cadre allocation system. Okay, ma'am. This is dated 20th June 2023 to the Chief Secretaries of all the states. This is from the Minister of Personal and Public Grievances, Pensions, DOPT. Cadre wise, sit down, ma'am, sit down please. Cadre wise and insider outsider distribution of vacancies to be filled up in IAS on the basis of Civil Service Examination 2022. This was the circular. I am directed to refer to the subject cited above and to communicate category wise, that means reserved, unreserved category wise, cadre wise and insider outsider distribution of vacancies to be filled up through the Civil Service Examination 2022. Now, final distribution of vacancies, Civil Service Examination 2022. Name of the state, Agmut cadre. First is Agmut cadre. As per the 2022 examination, total vacancies in the IAS under the Agmut cadre is 15. Out of the 15 total vacancies, insider are 4, outsiders are 11. So this is the circular prepared and sent by the DOPT. As per this, how do they prepare? The Chief Secretary of the Agmut, basically they project their vacancy position to the DOPT well in advance. That they compile. So as per the request received from Arunachal Pradesh, Mizoram, Daman Diu, Pondicherry, Delhi, Chandigarh, these are the UTs, right? So total this year 2022, 15 IAS vacancies are there which are acceptable to DOPT. They may not accept. Out of that they mentioned 4 are insiders, means from this, suppose a candidate from Mizoram, he prefers, say for example Mizoram, he is from Agmut cadre, for example. This card is a Mizo candidate. So he gets into the IAS. So he is a Mizo from Mizoram. He prefers Agmut cadre as number 1. So then there are insider 4 vacancies. Means definitely this candidate will get the Mizo, means Agmut cadre. There is no separate cadre for the Mizoram. It's a Agmut cadre. So he or she will serve in Delhi, serve in Mizoram for a longer time, which is accommodated basically. Any northeast candidate either from Arunachal or the Mizoram gets selected into the All India services. It is ensured that he or she served the longest period in their states basically. They will not be posted to Delhi, more or less. Next is Andhra Pradesh cadre. Andhra Pradesh cadre, thus year 22, there were 6 vacancies for IAS. Out of the 2 are insider, 4 are outsiders. Now again, this is total vacancies In Andhra Pradesh 6, insider 2, outsider 4. Unreserved out of this 6 is only 1. Unreserved IAS, total 1. Then unreserved EW also, including EWS is the new allocated here. Insiders, Andhra Pradesh that day, total 1, insiders 0, unreserved. If a general candidate 2022 got into the IAS from Andhra Pradesh domicile, he prefers zone 1, Andhra Pradesh 1, because there is no unreserved vacancy, is out. He may be accommodated in any of these preferences based on the computer. Even DOPT doesn't know. Even once you prefer the zone, you missed the Andhra Pradesh cadre, the chances of you getting accommodated in other states is very, very high, because you are very high in the list, the merit list. So here, this list varies year to year, both IAS and IPS officers. It has total vacancies, total in that insider outsider, unreserved including EWS, category wise OBC, SC and ST. So this list is prepared for IAS and IPS every year. So what do they do is, they may tinker with the, see it's not binding, all the states, suppose Andhra Pradesh state has asked for, I don't know how many IAS officers the AP state government has asked for, we don't know. Only the personal department of Andhra Pradesh, or for that matter Telangana, we will see Telangana as an example. This 2022 IAS 6 Telangana, maybe Telangana Chief Secretary might have asked 10. We don't know. We don't know. Because they project all the IAS and IPS recruitment is basically against a district magistrate or an SP, basically. To reach that stage, ma'am, they will be posted as sub-divisional magistrate, sub-divisional police officer, joint collector and collector. Basically the post is collector post actually. These are okay, transitory. This is called cadre post. So how many cadre posts are likely to get vacated from 4 years from now? So invariably they project up to the 4 years, the number, the Telangana though allocated 6, but the actual requirement may be 10. We don't know, ma'am, because a lot of districts have emerged. That after the bifurcation, almost 33 districts. Each district has to be headed by a IAS officer, collector, if it is a cadre post. So now, Chief Secretary, I am very sure, might have asked at least for 10 IAS officers. But the DOPT exercised its discretion, used only 6, allocated only 6. 6 lucky. Out of that 6, insider 2, outsider 4. Suppose they reduced it to 4. Insider may be 1, you may be the topper. Topper also, you have to have this reservation here. It begins, say for example, this gentleman has asked Rajasthan is zone 1. Suppose Rajasthan, will just see how many. Rajasthan 8 total, 2 insiders and 6 outsiders. Out of the 2 insiders, if we take outsider, outsider, insider, outsider, outsider, insider, then unreserved, SC reservation, ST reservation, OBC reservation, ST reservation. There is a 100-point roster system. There is again a slot is, if for the benefit of the students, I want to use the pen. Can I use the pen, please? How to? So now, what is how the 100-point roster system for the commonsensical observation? 100-point roster system is how it operates. It all 60, whatever the cadre strength in a given state, 66% of, suppose Meghalaya cadre. Meghalaya cadre IAS is around 68, IPS is 31. Out of the IAS 66 availability, 66% are outsiders, only 33% are insiders. That's why this formula outsider, outsider, insider. Then outsider, outsider, insider, outsider, outsider, insider, outsider, outsider, insider. It goes up to 100 points, okay, like outsider, outsider, insider, outsider, outsider, insider, outsider, outsider, insider. Fine. Now, it says that you start with, this is, you may say, unreserved, okay. Now, Out of this, they apply the reservation percentage. Out of this 100, how many shall be for the unreserved? There are unreserved, OBC, SC and ST. Plus they introduced the physically challenged also with the cadre allocation. We will not take this PH cases now, we take unreserved. What is the, as per the UPSC, as per the Supreme Court, it shall be 50%. 50% shall go to the open category, unreserved. That means out of this 100-point roster system, this will be roughly around 50. 50 shall be for unreserved quota. So OBC reservation is roughly around 27%. 27% out of the 100. So roughly around 27 of these points shall be reserved for OBCs. Out of the SC reservation is how much? 7%? 14%, 24%. What is the SC reservation now? ST reservation is 7%. ST reservation 7%. Then this is 7%. So 70, 84. This is roughly around 16%. Is now, if there are 100 vacancies, which vacancy shall be reserved for unreserved, which vacancy shall go to the OBC, which one? That is this 100-point roster system decides. So roughly every fourth vacancy shall go to the OBC, 4 times roughly. So every every seventh vacancy shall go to the SC candidate. Every 14th vacancy shall go to an ST candidate. That is the general commonsensical understanding. Now what happens? Fourth vacancy, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is reserved for OBC. Next is the 7th, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is reserved for SC vacancy. Next is 14th vacancy, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 14th vacancy is reserved for ST candidate. It's like, now the question is, all are outsiders. Then what about the insider vacancies? What about the insider vacancy? The same thing happens, 100 point, you imagine there are, all are insiders, imagine all are insiders, insider. Imagine a hypothetical situation, insider vacancies, all are insider, all 100 are insider vacancies. Now, the fourth goes to the OBC, 5th, 6th, 7th goes to the SC, insider vacancy, 14th goes to ST. Insider vacancy. Now, if fourth vacancy is for OBC, so every multiples of fourth vacancy shall be reserved for OBC. So fourth is the OBC, 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th insider vacancy is for OBC. Yes. Next is 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th. Again 12th vacancy is for OBC. 14th vacancy is for ST. Now 7th, if once 7th is for SC, this is 7th is for reserved for SC, multiples are 7, 14th vacancy. 14th has already reserved for ST. So invariably the 15th insider vacancy shall be for SC. Now apply the same logic. Here 7th and 8th are reserved, 2 insider vacancies. Here 14th and 15th, 2 insider vacancies. Coming to Telangana. Telangana, there are 6 vacancies, out of that 2 are insider vacancies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. For example, if there are 6 vacancies, out of the 6 vacancies as per the roster system, these 4 will be outsiders. The remaining 2 insider vacancies are reserved for, as per the roster system, 1 insider vacancy for SC, another insider vacancy for OBC. Even if you are the topper from ST community, even if the topper from unreserved community, you will not be considered for insider vacancy. Though you are all India ranker number 1, you will not be considered. So roster system is managed by the computer. So that's why nobody can predict, madam, whatever your options, the only thing which is in your hands is, one is, if you are getting into the all India services, would you like to serve in your home state? If so, what is your home state? Yes or no? I have not mentioned yes or no, left it blank. It is deemed as not interested. Number 2, to serve in your home state, you have to select the zone, you have to be meritorious, number 1, and there has to be insider vacancy. See, so many variables, it is near impossible to predict the cadre. So that's why be careful about filling up your own home state preference. That is the only in your hands. After that, like I can't advise what type of, suppose zone, madam. Okay. Second is zone. Can you just go back to that one, please? Come.
So should there be a difference in police and administrative service preferences? That is one other question.
Yeah, sure, will come. Now, so coming to this as a classic case example, like I mentioned, he preferred zone 1 as his number 1 zone preference. In this zone, he preferred Rajasthan, his home cadre. For example, the Rajasthan, there is only 1 insider vacancy, which is reserved for his community. He is the merit, he got the rank, he is the merit, he has given a preference, automatically it will be allocated to him. Suppose he misses that one, then his overall ranking and other candidates' preferences for this. Suppose his second preference is Haryana, okay, he missed the home cadre. He will not be considered for Haryana automatically, no ma'am. Because once he misses the home cadre, he will go to the general pool. There is one, the insider pool and general pool. Once I miss the home cadre, you will be in the general pool. You will be your merit vis-a-vis the guy who is there in the outsider. Now, you have given Haryana as your outsider cadre, outsider preference. One is insider preference, this is outsider preference, outsider preference. So there, outsider vacancy, is there any reservation? Outsider vacancy, how many other outsiders are there who preferred Haryana? What is their rank vis-a-vis your rank? If they are above you in the rank, automatically they will be allocated to Haryana, not to you. That's why Bhagavan ka bharosa hai. All others is not involved except the zone. Second is, for example, if I am the interview board member, I will pay full attention to this. Why you have given zone 4 least preference? Justify. I will ask ma'am. Is that why? You don't want to serve. Is it not part of India? You are very biased. You are from Andhra Pradesh. You want an IAS or IAPS and you want only posting in Andhra Pradesh? You mean to say the India is not your country? Northeast is not part of your country. You don't want to serve there. Then who said that I want to get into the IAS to serve the nation? In your mention, you mentioned that why do you want to get into the IAS? I want to serve the nation. Yes, ma'am. Okay. So my question is, I want to serve the nation. But when it comes to the preferences, you are self-contradictory. If I want to serve anywhere in India, I'll leave everything blank. First point. I'll not give any preference to either to my cadre or because I'm an all India service officer. What the signal you are sending to the board? You are a true all India service officer, means entire India belongs to me. Sir, you send me anywhere. I have no preference. That candidate is a truly all India service officer. It is revealing your it is revealing your core belief that I am an Indian, I shall serve anywhere in India. So what is this cadre, sir? Why you have left it blank? That itself is, you left it blank, right? Left it blank, sir, I am not interested. I am an All India Service Officer. I believe All India means I shall be ready to serve anywhere in my country. Absolutely, you bowled the entire, like, the board. The board will never expect this type of answer. It's a dead honest answer. Provided you strongly believe that India is my mother country, India is, all Indians are my brothers and sisters. If you strongly believe and practice that, otherwise you take the oath, no? That's meaningless. The true meaning is basically not giving any preferences, but it is your choice, it's your call. If I am in the interview board, I'll grill you to the core just to reveal to the board members this candidate is dishonest with himself or herself. So, next coming to your question, ma'am, that is the service preferences. That is one area where. So, this is about cadre. Only thing is, like, go by your personal choice, otherwise all others you give preference. If you don't give the preference, what happens basically? Suppose I give only, I am from Rajasthan, I give only zone 1, Rajasthan 1, I left everything blank. That's it, yeah, it's option. Sir, why did you fill it like this? Sir, UPSC has asked me to fill. I gave my only one choice, that's all. Others, I am ready to serve anywhere in India. If Rajasthan I get my home cadre, nothing like it. Otherwise, I am ready to serve anywhere in India, sir. Rajasthan, because insider vacancy is there, because the home cadre system is there, I preferred. If I get Rajasthan cadre, yes, sir. If I don't get the Rajasthan cadre, it makes no difference to me, whether it's Kerala, Kanyakumari, or to Jammu and Kashmir, to Gujarat, to Mokokchung district in Nagaland. It makes no difference to me. But are you ready? Have you experienced that feeling? So this is where it reveals your thinking, your personality.
Sir, actually the question was, should there be a difference in the zone preference for IAS and IPS?
Yes, because they have asked it separately, right? Now, we'll see this. So here, this is for IAS. Suppose you get into another All India Service UPA, that is IPS. So, shall I stick to the same preferences which I have given for IAS? That is one option. Mutatis mutandi, you copy it. Whatever you have preferred it for IAS, same copy it IPS, it makes no difference. Both are the same cadre, only the half mark makes the difference into IAS or IPS. So it makes no difference. So when it comes to the cadre also, ma'am, advise them to stick to the same, not to change it basically. Not to change it. Please advise the candidates to stick to the same, copy it. Okay, coming to the next one, yeah, sure. Next, can you go to the home cadre? Yes, it's whether, this is what they look at it, whether you want to consider your home state Rajasthan as your first preference as home cadre. Yes, he has mentioned. So computer automatically considers that. Then it examines the three variables: his rank, his preference in the zonal preference, within the zonal preference, cadre preference. All the three, the software automatically. If it is blank, the computer considers this as a no, not interested. I told you, one IAS officer got the All India 5th rank, left it blank, not considered for the home cadre. Though there is an insider vacancy, though he has a merit, he has the rank, because this is not there, so the computer automatically consider this as not interested. So this is the same, he has mentioned the same preferences, ma'am, IAS and IPS the same. Okay, now coming to, now I am not going into the 2017, the DOPT circular, which is not required. Only thing is, what is your personal preference? One point. Are you willing to serve in your home state if you get into All India Services? Yes. If so, what do you consider as your home state? Suppose in my case, if my son takes up the exam and I ask him to put Meghalaya as his home state, and I said no, because he studied there. So we have the residence certificate there. So when it comes to this column, I ask him to say no. I am not interested in serving the Assam Meghalaya cadre. Then what happens is, then based on the preferences, I may give zone 5 as my first preference. Okay, now coming to the next important here. So take a hypothetical situation. I order a preference, I leave it blank. I am the topper. I am the All India first ranker, but I have not given any preference. What service the UPSC will allocate to? The leftover. The services. Though you are top, once you have not preferred any service, order of preference, then you will not be automatically considered, though you are number 1 rank, you will not be considered for IAS or other services. You will be kept aside. Once the preferential system, the order of preference is filled up by the computer based on your this one and rank, then the leftover service, maybe Danubes, maybe some other group B service, you will be allocated, because nobody has, or there are more vacancies, preferences are less, automatically you will be number 1 candidate to occupy that. So it is basically computer allocated. Next is, generally the UPSC interview board is to test the suitability of a candidate for Indian administrative service. That is the thumb rule. UPSC civil services means selection to Indian administrative service. All other cadres or other services are add-on. They added on to the given this responsibility to the UPSC, for they clubbed into a single All India service. This is All India level examination. So there is no separate All India services examination. Means there is only one exam for IAS, IPS and Indian Forest Service. These three, there is no separate exam for that. So what the UPSC board members, they scout, they search for the personality is basically whether this material is suitable for IAS or not. That is the first. That is the core job. They never consider you, is this candidate suitable for foreign service or IPS service? No. Okay. A situation comes that Indian police service is number 1 preference. Then what do they do? Will they reject me from interviewing? No, absolutely not. You will be considered as if you are appearing for the IAS exam. The marks decides. But you will not be considered only for the IPS. No, the UPSC board members are silent about the other service. Suppose you have, my batchmate, he is from UP, he gave Indian Revenue Service as number 1 option. Revenue Service. The board may look at your preference, may not look at your preference. They, why you want to join Indian Revenue Service? They never inquire. They never inquire. Unless, say for example, IRS officer is the chairman, IRS officer is one of the prominent members of the board. It's a rare coincidence. Generally, IAS is deemed to be number 1 preference across all the candidates. Generally, if there is an exception, say my own batchmate Mahesh Dikshit, he gave Indian Police Service as his first choice. They didn't even bother to inquire why. Like basically, they generally they don't, unless there is something unique. Like foreign service, previously generally what happens is the top 10 ranks generally IFS. Till 1985-90s, the IFS Indian Foreign Service is the very prestigious. Only the top 10 ranks are into the IFS. After that, slowly, I have seen some candidate, they are given as he has given 2nd preference, but 5th or 6th preference, even 10th preference IFS they are given. So here, if you are not giving administrative service as your first preference, giving IPS or IFS as a one member may pick up that. Are you not interested to become an IAS officer? Why? So it is believed, it is presumed that you have given due thought to this preference. Show that one. You filled it up, right? You have given your own preference. Why? Because this is the fundamental document before me. Any member may suddenly pick up on your hobby, another member may pick up your education, third member may pick up on these type of preferences. If I am the member, I told you, your zonal preferences, I will grill you to the core. So that it's all like because it's 8 pages, one member it is impossible. He cannot or she cannot. So generally they share and distribute the different aspects of your personality, the test. Overall the chairman assess and they give their feedback. The chairman is the final authority, board chairman is the final authority to give not the marks. They give A plus, A, B plus B, like that. So accordingly it's a allocation marks, percentage is there. So now, so generally it is administrative service IAS takes the number 1. Most of out of these 2000 candidates who are appearing for the interview now, almost 99% give IAS as a first preference. The others, they may change. It will not have any impact on the board members unless, say for example, you have given Defense Estate Services Group A as number 1. Incidentally, suppose this service officer is also there as the member. He will become curious. Why do you want to? What is so unique about this? Why not IAS and IPS, other services? Why not? It is expected that you have given thought to this preference, only that much. If it is not IAS as the first preference, gives a little bit of thought, spend more time. Why? Why do you want to become an Indian Foreign Service Officer? Suppose I want to be an Indian Foreign Service Officer, by all means, yes. It is, the board expects you to be curious about what is happening, the Hamas, what is the India stand, is the Russia-Ukraine war, is it morally correct on the part of India to import fuel from Russia? So because it's a current affairs, at the same time your preference is Indian Foreign Service, impromptu on the spot that day's news item. Basically to test, to unnerve you on the spot. Are you aware of your preference? Are you aware of why did you choose this as your preference? There has to be a logic reason, right? It's not a blind is. Are you filled up? This is the order given. I preferred 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's it. Absolutely no problem. I have no preferences. Yes, this is the order given by UPSC in the application form. Same number, I copy and paste it here. So unless and until you are somebody not preferring IAS over other services, then you have to have a reason. You have to have a solid reason. If it is especially the foreign affairs, say for example, the retired ambassadors or retired IFS officers are the board members, they may become curious about your preference. They may look in you a very brilliant diplomat. They may want to select you, provided you prove that you are genuine. I am genuinely interested in foreign affairs. Then that clinches your interview. Bottom line is 25 minutes. Out of this, almost 8 pages. Out of this, your educational qualification, your address and the background, family background, sports, academic background, your job. For example, this gentleman, this candidate I have seen in his educational, he completed his education in the year 2021, BTech, 2021 Computer Science and Engineering. Then software engineer, he worked a monthly remuneration of around 2,38,000 monthly. Oh, permanent job, worked in Yugabyte Software Private Limited. This is up to 22 June. So there is absolutely no gap. It is like, it sends a good signal to the board. Very good signal in this type of. So only thing is he has to be very, very humility, not imposing, not overbearing. For example, Yugabyte Software Private Limited, ED Cube Orion HSR, place of employment. What he has performed, then suddenly he may drag into the latest yesterday's Prime Minister's opening up of the artificial intelligence, the global seminar, 29 countries participant. They may suddenly link up with his area of expertise. Prime Minister said that very clearly, artificial intelligence will ruin the civilization. Do you agree with that? So that is it has a huge negative impact. Even Stephen Hawking, he said that the human civilization will get erased with the artificial intelligence. Be careful. He cautioned. Are you with that? Is it necessary? Is it not resulted in the job loss? So once you have this background of the software, then it is expected that the latest Government of India initiatives on the software side, adoption of the digital technology for corruption elimination, direct benefit transfer, all those other schemes, Digital India, the schemes of the Digital India, it is expected not as an, please, I am not recommending you to become an expert on the software, absolutely not. It is common sense. What is the common sense example? The UPSC itself. A candidate was asked, what is inflation? As usual, devaluation of the rupee, valuation, the rupee loses its purchase power. No, yaar. Explain this to your grandmother who is illiterate. Make her understand what is inflation on the spot. So what do you assess the UPSC expectation from a interview candidate? Not a scholarly knowledge. If you have the scholarly knowledge like the first example which I have given you, where he ended up with the 44 marks, that is a scholarly knowledge. That is an aberration, that is only an exception. Otherwise, are you bringing in whatever this, your decision is all your decisions. Please remember, whatever this candidate filled up, it is his or her decisions. Remember, this is your decision, please. Every decision has to precede thinking, because every decision is like, can I open this, please? I strongly believe in this. Whatever you have filled up in this form, right? This is your decisions. Each one is your decision. To disclose, not to disclose information, yes. How much to disclose is you decided, right? Not ma'am, not me, it is your own, because it goes with your own signature. It's your own signature at the end of the page, which you can't change later. That's what UPSC says. Every decision has to be preceded by thinking. UPSC is interested in this and this, not this. Not this. Whether this candidate has this habit of thinking through the decisions taken. Only that much. This is your personality, your character, your honesty, your hardworking nature, your self-discipline, your engaging, associating with the NGOs, spending time with the children, spending time with the clubs, any sporting activity or whatever. That is your thinking. So they are interested in this, not this. But I can caution you, every decision has consequences. Every decision has consequences. Who wants up these consequences? You. You are the owner of these consequences, no one else. No one else. It's you. Take the classic example of me. I always take my example. It's not the self-boasting. Just to make this clear to you, as an example I am taking what I experienced. I got only a 65th rank. Right trial I would have got into IAS, but I opted for IPS. The decision taken. What was the thinking? Andhra Pradesh cadre, insider, IPS is better than IAS outsider. Fair enough, that was the thinking. My wife was telling, please don't opt for, keep the IAS. Is that no, you don't know. Okay, that was the thinking. I opted for IPS. I got All India 65th rank. I got into IAS. Had I continued with the IAS, I would have gone to Rajasthan cadre. No, IPS is, I am certain, being the topper, I get my AP cadre. This was my thinking, okay? Accordingly, decision taken. What was the decision taken? I did not opt for IAS. I opted for IPS. Is the decision taken? Yes. What are the consequences? There has to be consequences. Last 32 years, the consequences. I lost my AP cadre. Assam Meghalaya cadre. For 32 years, away from family. My children, I lost the roots. language is different, I can't settle there, it's a scheduled area, I can't acquire property, I can't settle in Shillong, I have to, after 32 years, I have to uproot myself and come to Hyderabad where I know nobody. Who is the owner of these consequences? I, me and myself. I can't blame others. Be careful about filling up of this form because the board members see through your thinking. Thank you.